Here comes trouble.
What you about to find out, like what?
Straight from Twin Town Sports Central. Running myself like the quarterback option. It's the Grovcast. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Eric Grover here, Daily News Sports Editor. I'm going to let the music fade out before I get talking. Alright, good job, sound editor me. Alright. How's it going, everybody? Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Happy Hanukkah, and have a jolly Kwanzaa. Anyway, yeah, it's getting to be that winter break time of the year. So, there's lots of teams playing well right now that probably wouldn't like to have a little bit of time off. They'd like to keep playing, keep winning. Start with the NDSU men's basketball team, which entered the national rankings this Tuesday. Number 18 in the NJCAA. Blah, always a mouthful there. And they're playing well. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Only lost one. That was the Gillette game in Wyoming. They're perfect at home. Still, again. Yeah, the people above me are doing repairs on my or something. I don't know what's going on. So it's very loud and annoying. So if you hear random pounding, that's what's going on. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Get a look at the starting five. Really getting it done. But I really like the flashy play of Anthony Hendricks. Here's a guard coming off the bench. Probably doesn't get as much recognition as some of the other guys on the team. But every time he touches the ball, he does something electric. He's really fun to watch. And he's just one of countless guys on the team that bring it every night. This is a fun team to watch. The stands are packed, but I would love to see more people fill out those seats. So the Wildcats won't be playing at home for at least a month. So when they finally come back to the Ed Wary Arena, it'd be great to see some more faces in there. So congratulations to Coach Schumacher and his guys on that national ranking. That's great. Wahpeton Huskies, boys basketball, girls basketball, they're both 2-0. Both playing good. Had a chance to watch the boys game versus Fargo Davies yesterday, and that was a true test to see where they really were. Whether this team was for real. They showed up. They won by 12. Probably could have won by more. Again, this team isn't running on full cylinders right now, on the offensive end at least. They did a great job on the defensive side. Guys like Jack Christensen and Zane Medhog, Nick Holcup. These were the guys that we were talking about that had to be important, that had to step it up, had to contest with bigger players, taller players. They're holding it down. They won the rebounding battle by 11. That's all you can ask for. That's what you want. You know, maybe get a few more threes go down. Speaking of threes, here's my interview with Daily News sports intern Carson Miller. See, Money, take it away. Go. All right, there we go. Now the music's started. Moving right along on the Grovcast. We're joined by none other than my main man, Carson C. Money Miller, Daily News partial time sports intern and full-time awesome dude. What's going on, Carson?
Not a lot.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the apartment.
Yeah.
How are you liking it?
Nice setup you got here.
Yeah, thanks.
A little messy, but
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'm sure the ladies love it.
They do. Well, it's a busy time of the year for you. You got what? Final exam? What do they call them? Final exams in high school?
Yeah, they do. Final tests, whatever. But
final tests.
Yeah, they're coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Reviewing for them, studying for them a little bit.
So you got that going on, and also a starter on the Wahpeton boys basketball team. Now you guys are 1-0 right now. Had a big win, a nice comfy win to open the season. How did you and the guys feel about last Tuesday's win?
Well, I got to admit it was pretty sloppy. I'll take some of the blame for that. I'm usually more sound from the perimeter, but I just couldn't knock down a shot. But I wasn't the only one that had the problem either. Brandon Wetzel, I mean, we were all struggling. Mm-hmm. But counting on our captain, Jeremy Bonchus, and he really pulled through for us, 23 points.
Is he going to be scoring 20 a game? I think he might.
Maybe, I don't know. I think he averaged, 16 last year, something like that. And that carried us through most of our games that we won as well. Especially at the end of the game, he knocks down all of his free throws, and you really need that to hold the team off in the final minutes.
Yeah, no, just watching you guys, because I've only been here a year and a half now, but this is my second go around with you guys at the basketball team. And last year, you guys showed a lot of promise, but there were times where you would let second half leads slip away. And I know it's very early in the season, just the one game, the one sample to take, but you guys held off Grand Forks and got it done. Do you feel a difference between this year's team and last year's team?
Yeah, I do. Almost everybody that we had last year is coming back. We had 3 seniors graduate, but we really got a good team together. A lot of seniors, so a lot of experience as well. And you can't really go wrong with experience. That always helps. And starting off with a win was nice. We figured, we wanted to, and that's exactly what we did. Now we got a tough game coming up tomorrow against Fargo Davies, and they're a tough team. We beat them twice last year, but
they're a lot better this year.
We beat them by 5 points and 2 points, so nothing was easy with them. And we don't expect it to be this time around either.
What's the key to Fargo Davies?
Well, they got a really good player, Andrew Kozlowski. Is a sophomore this year, and then they have a 6'5" post, Brady Jordahl. So, 6'5", our tallest guy's 6'3". They'll probably be looking for him to put up some points and some rebounds as well. How
difficult is this season going to be without having the size that you guys might want to have?
Well, we kind of were in the same boat last year, and I don't know, we lost a lot of really close games last year, so obviously some height or some, a big guy would be nice, but we just don't really have that.
Yeah. Well, it's Monday right now, and the Grovcast this week won't go up till Wednesday. So by the time listeners will have heard this, the Fargo Davies game will have already been played. So I'm going to do a post-game interview with you right now.
Okay. So
first of all, let's pretend that you won the game. Carson, congratulations on a big win. What did you guys do to win this game?
Well, our movement was really well, and we didn't really stand around, which you can't do against a quick team like this. They have a lot of perimeter guys that can play well, but as well as the big guys. And our big guys were able to, or our semi-big guys were able to beat their big guy down the floor and get a couple of quick layups, and that helped drove our offense.
Look at you, you're taking this totally seriously. I love it. All right, now let's pretend that you guys lost. Carson, C-Money.
Yeah.
What happened, dude? What happened out there tonight?
Well, wait, how much did we lose by?
Well, let's 8 points.
Well, it was a close game, I guess, but I don't know. Their athleticism was really good, and they were really running and gunning, and we just couldn't stop it.
How do you build off of this loss, this terrible loss?
Well, I don't know if it was too terrible. They're a really tough team, and it's not like we expected to blow them out or kill them or anything, but we knew it would be close, and we knew it would be a battle, so we gave it what we had.
Proving that post-game interviews are completely meaningless. Thank you, C-Money, for that.
No problem.
All right, now let's move on. You are quite the Bison supporter, and we got a team battling for a national championship in the running for it.
Yep.
Tell me about the Bison this year, because I always have to work on Saturdays, and I don't get to watch any Bison football at all. So.
Well, obviously my main high point would be Wahpeton boy Ryan Smith, but these last couple of weeks he hasn't been able to do anything with a injured hamstring. However, he's looking to bounce back from that. He only played just a couple of the first plays last week, and hopefully they'll be able to get him in the game, and he'll be able to stay in the game this time and finish it out and help the Bison team win in the semis and get to the final game in Frisco, Texas.
Now, last year they got bounced pretty. It was a rough way that they exited the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
do you think that that's something that they learned from?
Well, yeah, I'm sure they did, but it's really tough to lose like that, and yeah, you can learn from it, but it's tough.
What's better, the offense or the defense for the Bison?
Well, I don't know. You could really argue either way because their offense started out pretty shaky here early on in this past week, and their defense was doing really well. I mean, they caused quite a few turnovers, and their offense was giving them up. But in the second half and the second quarter, their offense really just pounded it up. They got everything they wanted and scored 24 points, but also defense didn't give up any points, and you can never go wrong with that. I mean, you're not going to lose a game if your defense doesn't give it any points.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to baseball. There's some big news this week. Albert Pujols going to the Angels.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Well, I don't know. There was a lot of talk saying that he probably wasn't going to stay in St. Louis, so I wasn't too surprised, but there were talks earlier in the week, I think, of him going to the Marlins and joining Hanley Ramirez.
And Reyes.
Yeah, Jose Reyes. I mean, that's a trio that you don't want to mess with, obviously.
Well, don't you... you said that you weren't surprised that he was going to leave, but does it bother you at all that he left? I mean, here's a guy who was drafted... Oh, man, I don't even remember what round it was, but it was diamond in the rough, the definition of diamond in the rough. St. Louis is the team that gave him a chance, that built him up, that made, that turned him into the player that he is, and now he's just walking away.
Yeah, you're seeing that more and more in sports nowadays. I mean,
now, what if Mauer did that?
Luckily, he hasn't yet, but
I don't think he's going to now.
I'd be pretty mad if he did. I gotta be honest. You never see guys like that anymore, like Kirby Puckett, who plays his whole career with one team and stays loyal to him despite offers that he gets from other teams. He stays in one spot, and that's kind of a lost cause now in sports nowadays. You don't really see that very often.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. If you're a team with a lot of money, you'd think it's a good thing, but I think it's kind of bad. I like to see guys stay in one area.
Yeah, the loyalty. Yeah. And then you get the NBA, the Chris Paul stuff and the Dwight Howards and, the balance of power. All it takes is just signing a check instead of drafting a player and developing them.
Same thing with Miami Heat, too, getting LeBron James, Chris Bosh, along with D. Wade. And, I know they didn't win the finals, but they were right there, and they were kind of projected to early on in the year.
Well, speaking of getting high draft picks, the Vikings are 2-11. I've talked about this with other people, but I'd like to get your opinion on what you think the Vikings' biggest draft needs are for next season.
Well, it always seems like they want a quarterback, and they just seem to never get one, and they always bring up some washed-up guy, despite the one good year that.
You really think that? You think the Vikings are going to take a quarterback in the first round?
No, I don't think so, because they got Christian Ponder last year. Although that probably wasn't the smartest pick at the time, I think that this year has helped him out. He's played in almost every game, started almost.
Well, what's up with Joe Webb getting snaps here?
Well, I don't know. Ponder wasn't having a good game yesterday.
4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also shown some signs of a really good player. I mean, when he's on the run, he's really surprisingly good on the run, whereas if he stays in the pocket, that's where it seems like his interceptions are coming from.
So you like Ponder?
I do. I like him.
Okay, fair enough. So
I don't love him, but I like him.
Yeah, well, it takes time to grow into a good player. So with that being said, where do the Vikings draft?
Yeah, well, their pass defense is horrid, as it has been that past few years. They got a lot of old guys back there, and they're no Charles Woodson, to say the least.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'd probably go somewhere in the D-back. I don't know. I like LSU's secondary is really nice. They might want to take a look at one of those guys back there.
Yeah. You are a big LSU fan. Yeah. Now, I was sitting watching the game with a buddy of mine the other day, Landon Kafka, Grovcast regular. And Landon threw out a really interesting idea, because the Vikings are going to get... We're watching Monday Night Football right now, and if the Rams win this game against Seattle, which is totally plausible, then the Vikings will jump up to the number 2 pick. And Landon threw out a name, Justin Blackman, the wide receiver from Oklahoma State, just that beast one,
yep.
who looks just like another Des Bryant. Now... what do you think about that? I know the Vikings have tons of needs on the defensive side of the ball, like we talked about. But if you put Percy Harvin and this Blackman, who looks like a can't-miss player, then the Vikings all of a sudden have just a dangerous receiving corps for Ponder to throw to.
Yeah, they'd be a lot more dangerous on the offensive side of the ball, but the defense is really what's killing them. too. I mean,
Well, the Packers are showing that it doesn't matter how bad you are on defense.
well, they're not as bad as the Vikings. I'll admit that. The Packers, they're pretty good on defense, and the Vikings, it just seems like a couple weeks ago against Tim Tebow, all the secondary thought that they had over-the-top help, and they never did. Like, I don't know what they're thinking out there.
Now, I want to ask you about Tebow because I've been seeing your Facebook posts, and you are all over this Tebow mania.
Yeah.
Are you a part of Tebow mania?
Oh, I liked Tim Tebow. I liked him through college. I don't like Florida, but I liked him as a player in college.
That's interesting that you would say that because LSU and Florida have a big rivalry.
Yeah, I don't like Florida, but they never met up in the championship, so I didn't really have to worry about that.
Fair enough. So what do you think of Tebow? Is he just that, stereotypical overachiever, with a positive will to win that somehow is working?
That's kind of what it looks like right now, but I mean, he puts in all the time possible to get better at his game. I mean, he's always working hard. And I don't know, it just seems like he's been pulling the right strings lately, winning every close game possible.
Well, Sunday's game versus the Bears was just like Tim Tebow in a nutshell because he was like 3 for 16 in the first half passing, and then all of a sudden, with 2 minutes to go, and they're down 10 points, he goes 7 for 7 for 70 yards. Do you think the Broncos, and I'm not saying this year or even next year, but down the line, let's say in the next 6 years, do the Broncos win a Super Bowl with Tim Tebow? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's definitely possible, if you ask me. I mean, he's a great player, and obviously he's shown that he can win ball games. He's won, 5 in a row now, something like that? So, yeah, I think it's very
6 in a row.
possible. 6 in a row.
Yeah. So, the Heisman winner was announced on Saturday, and it's the player that no one has ever heard of or seen play. What does that say to you that a relative unknown, and I know Baylor plays in a power conference, and it's impossible for a player not in a power conference to ever win a Heisman, so at least he had that going for him. But Robert Griffin III is your Heisman winner. What did you think of that, and who was your player of the year?
Well, I don't know. When I heard his name, I kind of thought, wow, that's pretty surprising. A Baylor quarterback. I mean, they're never really a dominant team, and that's nice to see, though, that a player from a non-dominant team like Ohio State, Florida, LSU doesn't win the Heisman. I kind of like that. Andrew Luck had obviously a good shot. He was probably the favorite coming into the year from Stanford, and they're a tough team to beat. But I don't know. I kind of like the fact that RG3 won and Andrew Luck didn't.
Well, I mean, do you really believe that Robert Griffin III was the most outstanding player of the year? I ask this because if I'm correct about this, Baylor isn't even playing in a BCS bowl game. So, I mean, how valuable was he really?
Yeah, I guess if you can't win games or enough games to prove yourself, it's kind of tough. I don't know. It's kind of surprising that he won it that way, but I don't know. Just to stand out on a bad team, if you can, I don't know. Without him, what would they have been? Would they have won any games?
All right, boys and girls, that's going to do it for another Grovcast. I'm going to be back home in Wisconsin next week, so there won't be a Grovcast. So here's my chance to say, oh man, I'm good with that timing. All right, good luck to all the athletes out there this week. Enjoy your time off. Don't eat too much ham. I'm out of here. We'll catch you in the new year on the Grovcast.